CBS is now deservedly under fire after abruptly postponing a report on the brutal El Salvador prison, CECOT, that you've heard a lot about. They were doing a big in-depth thing about it, but we didn't get to see it. And they actually pulled it right before it was supposed to go out. You can see the editor's note right there that they tweeted out that it'll air in a future broadcast, maybe if the regime allows it. Because this is not a thing of, oh, with 2 hours left to go, we realized that we misattributed a graphic or whatever. This is a political thing. It is explicitly a political thing. People on 60 Minutes are angry about this, furious about this. Fans of the show, maybe former fans of the show at this point, are furious, and everybody should be worried about the sheer level of control that the Trump administration is now exerting over these legacy, once quite respected outlets of journalism. And so they were going to do an in-depth look. You can see if we bring up graphic 2, Sharyn Alfonsi interviewed some of the now released deportees. They described the brutal and torturous conditions that they endured. It was gonna reflect potentially really poorly on the Trump administration because this is grotesque. This is one of the worst things they did all year. They took a bunch of people, none of whom deserved to be there. Some of them didn't deserve to be literally anywhere. They knowingly sent innocent people to one of the most just horrible and brutal places on the planet, knowing they likely will be assaulted, sexually assaulted, murdered potentially. Don't care. It's part of our strategy. We do need to learn about this. It would be great for 60 Minutes to be able to teach us about it. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. Dylan Byers got a statement from a spokesperson for CBS News saying, we determined it needed additional reporting. Well, what kind of additional reporting did they apparently need? Well, evidently Bari Weiss, who was selected to make sure that CBS News does not do any actual journalism and just both sides things, tries to make the right look less grotesque than they actually are. That's her. That's why she's there. That's why she was picked by the Trump administration. She apparently weighed in. And so we're getting this from a memo about corporate censorship and a betrayal of the most basic tenet of journalism from that journalist we referenced previously, Sharyn Alfonsi. She put out this statement saying, I learned on Saturday that Bari Weiss spiked our story inside CECOT, which was supposed to air. Our story was screened 5 times and cleared by both CBS attorneys and standards and practices. It is factually correct. In my view, pulling it now after every rigorous internal check has been met is not an editorial decision. It is a political one. She says, we requested responses to questions and or interviews with DHS, the White House, the State Department. Government silence is a statement, not a veto. Their refusal to be interviewed is a tactical maneuver designed to kill the story. If the administration's refusal to participate becomes a valid reason to spike a story, we have effectively handed them a kill switch for any reporting they find inconvenient. Well, I'm sorry, but you already did. I mean, you didn't hand it to them, but they have their kill switch. It's Bari Weiss. She can kill anything that would reflect poorly on the Trump administration, and clearly that's what she's doing. They are saying that she had demanded that they interview Stephen Miller, but as they made clear, they already tried to get interviews from a variety of these different agencies. And bringing on Stephen Miller so he can lie about narco terrorists and lie about all these individuals, that does not serve a journalistic purpose. But really, JR, we can't expect Bari Weiss to know that because she's not a journalist and she wasn't chosen because of her experience in journalism. She's chosen because she's a partisan hack. What do you think?
I feel like they don't know that people understand who she is, what's been going on, and then how this looks. They think that they can spike this story and come up with some BS excuses that everyone sees through, and that somehow people won't still understand and notice what it is that they're doing. They kind of have to not care. It's almost at the point where they're like, we can be transparent about how corrupt and fascist we are, and then once that's all clear, we'll just keep being corrupt and fascist. We'll censor the media. We'll go after any of Trump's political enemies. We'll steal money and give it to oligarchs. We'll send brown shirts into the streets, Trump's personal army to go and arrest people, ignore the rule of law, take American citizens and send them over to foreign jails and just destroy everyone's lives in every aspect. They've hit every point that they could of being a dictionary defined fascist, and we're not supposed to see it in front of us. I'm just wondering, I feel like I say it too much because we kept hearing the opposite way too much. Are they fascists yet? We're seeing it like it's right in front of us. There's masked people in the streets arresting American citizens. There's people failing multiple times, going after his political enemies. They still haven't gotten what James Comey and Letitia James. They can't. They keep screwing themselves over, and we're looking at it right in front of us. But we're not supposed to understand that Bari Weiss is part of this censorship group. Like it's right there. I don't understand it.
It's so obvious. In this story, this feels a little bit like the Jimmy Kimmel thing. It's like they have all of these ways that they can do all sorts of censorship, and we wouldn't necessarily know in the mergers they allow or whatever. But then they have to go an extra layer. They have to, I don't know, it feels almost like Star Wars. Like they squeeze their fingers just a little tight, and then stuff slips out because of it, because of their need for total control. And then they do stuff that is indisputable. That's all it is. And there's an added layer, and I'll end on this, as people have said, especially grotesque for Bari Weiss to be doing this, to support a regime that is being gobbled up by the Groypers and the most explicit Nazi-esque anti-Semitism possible. She's gonna be doing this to help out JD Vance, who is going to, if he gets the nomination, it is gonna be on a wave of explicit, rabid anti-Semitism. Not like the anti-Semitism where you like say that Palestinians are people. No, like Jews aren't people, spreading conspiracy theories, inspiring mass shooters against them. That's what she's doing this in support of, so it's even more grotesque.